right, well, as you can see, things are a little bit different. We are still on stage, David Choate, but it's a hot chocolate set now. We got to change things around here. Tis the season. I'm super excited for hot chocolate, though, because it has brought this wonderful gift to us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Thee PRIMO, how are you?
I am blessed and highly flavored.
Highly flavored?
Hmm
I love it. And I know you are sitting over there talking all quiet like you shy, and I know that you are
Oh man.
anything but.
Well, it'll come out when it needs to.
Oh, ooh. Yeah, I'm sure it will. I think we are in for a lovely conversation. Like, you've been here for a couple days now, and it's like every time we talk, I'm like, I'm gonna just shut up because I want to save it for the show. It's like it's like every little conversation, and then watch we're just gonna sit here like I don't know what to talk about. We'll see what happens. Yeah, tell me, like, you've been in Cincinnati. You were here for RDT's like inaugural, like, was supposed to be big kickoff season. We did our turn.
hmm
Little something called COVID shut us down.
hmm
I was super bummed because I was really excited about the idea of working with you for a full season
hmm
because I had a feeling you weren't going to be here long. And mark my words, not even a year went by, and now you're living in New York.
hmm
And like, tell me what life has been like up there. What are you doing? All the things. Yeah,
Life in New York is like a beautiful train wreck.
a
Um,
beautiful dream.
a beautiful train wreck. It's like super disgusting, and like there's rats everywhere, and like people are super hostile,
But
and people.
Cincinnati recently ranked high for the one of the rattiest cities too. So we're coming for you.
I
I'm not sure if
mean,
that's something we're super proud of,
but
but
like, like I promise you this place is nowhere near as dirty as New York City is.
yeah.
Like, but like it's so like it's just like the people there are like really, really crazy. Like the cops are corrupt and like people just have such a closed-minded way of thinking
Really, in New
and
York?
moving,
Hmm.
yes, and moving and
Hmm.
operating and the people there, yeah, I say this often, like even people who I feel like are from the hood there, like there's certain privileges that come with being from New York City and living in New York City. Like there's so much like there's a lot of programs and
Mm-hmm.
things for like queer people and trans people and things like that, which is not like that in your average
Yeah.
city. Like, and
Yeah.
there's the trains, like you can get up and go at any time you please, at any time of day, any time of night. That
So
you
public
don't have that
transit. Yeah.
luxury here,
You're
honey,
right.
because
You're
there might
right.
not even be a train station, or a bus stop even over in your side of town. You gotta have an Uber or have somebody who could pick you up or walk or something like. But with all of that, New York is like a drug. It's
Hmm.
addicting because it's like, wow, all of these things that are a lot take place. It makes you look at life differently, like how they say, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. It's truly, I truly have come to find that that is true because,
Yeah.
like, there's so much opportunity, and it's like you don't meet a lot of people who are there's so many different types of people. So
Hmm.
it's hard to find similarities in people or want to find similarities in people there because of some of the interactions you have and the things you see. And it's
But there
like,
are so many people there and
there
so many
are so,
personalities,
yeah.
and people do say if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I've
hmm
been so impressed following your journey, like, even from just watching from afar, it
hmm
seems like your personality has still gone up there, and like you have shined through, you continue to. Like, we haven't even talked about ballroom scene yet, and like how you are snatching trophies left and right, and doing your thing, and it's like it's only been such a short amount of time. Were you nervous at all, or did you know, like, I got this city, like, I'm ready to show you
yeah.
who I am?
Definitely wasn't nervous because I'm international already. So like, if I'm not
Excuse me,
like, if I'm
ladies and
not
gentlemen, on
like,
stage.
and it's no shade.
Yeah.
It's no shade. Like
Mm.
I like performed in big theaters all over the world, like dealt with some of the most prestigious of people. And so like
Mm-hmm.
going to New York City, it's actually very humbling
Yeah.
because it's like it makes you appreciate those connections that you do make with those people that you find to be your people, and it makes you value the space that you're in because there's not a lot of it, and it makes you value the similarities that you do find in people and things because there's so much commotion and chaos. And it's like the amount of opportunities that if you move the right way you can get, and like the people you can meet and the things you can tap into and the things you find, like there's so many gems. It's like being in New York to me is almost like it's like finding, it's like a big old Easter hunt, like an egg hunt.
Hmm.
Like finding all the like gems and things in this city that's so full of a lot of different things, you know.
Um, you said something that I want to make sure we don't gloss over. Like you truly are international. You've taught, you know, all over the world, performed. I think you spent a nice amount of time in Japan. Uh, the things you've done here in Cincinnati, obviously traveling around America as well. How did you architect and pull that together? What was that journey like for you? Um, because like people need to know, like, yeah, from here, like grew up on these streets. I think we've passed some of these streets, like where we
Hmm.
were
Hmm.
one headed to the studio and then coming here and you're like, yeah, yeah, grew up in this neighborhood, did
Hmm.
that. And it's like, um, what was that process like?
Whew. That process was long and it was a lot of hard work, like a
Because
lot of hard work. And it took,
people see it now and think, oh,
yeah,
you got it
and
made. Yeah.
whew,
Yeah.
no, I had to
Uh,
deal with a lot of things, especially at the hands of white people.
yeah, that's a lot
Um,
of shit. That's
yeah,
not a thing. That's a lot of shit. Yeah.
like, and so like putting all of that together, it was like I had to, in order to become successful in terms of what success looks like to the average eye, I had to remain being myself.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, like I've always been the type of person where you're not just going to say anything to me, you're not just going to do anything to me, you're not just
Hmm.
going to treat me any kind of way and expect me not to do or say anything in return. Never been that type of person, never will be.
Yeah.
So it's like, but also being the type of person who knows how to talk to people, and even in expressing myself and my concerns and my grievances and my things that I don't agree with, I am still a gracious person. I'm still a good person. I do care about what people think about me and how people perceive me. That's a thing called integrity that not a lot of people have
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's like that's such a rarity that I've always made sure that I've held on to, because it's like if I don't stay strong and on the things that I believe in and the things that I was raised on and the things that I have found to be effective to work for me, I'll never be able to make my name true to what it is.
Hmm.
It'll get lost in translation, be here, there, and over there. And, some people know me, some people don't. And you don't need all of that. When you hear my name, it should be clear cut. You know exactly what boom. Primo, boom. Nicholas Seeger, even my real name, Nicholas Seeger, like,
Hmm.
boom, rings bells. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That comes from maintaining a certain level of integrity and passion, and while also assertiveness and being true to who you are and knowing how to advocate for yourself and knowing how to advocate for the things you believe in
And that's where I
spaces.
want to spend some time is in that advocating space. Because, I didn't
Hmm.
prep you for this conversation. I never do for anybody, you know, and it's like, it's so funny though, like when I asked you about the journey and you talked about how a lot of the struggles that you have experienced, you introduced whiteness into that conversation, and it's been a through line with so many guests that we've had. It's been a through line with so many artists that I talk to, and I don't think that people really believe that that exists. It's like, why am I just this angry black man that's always talking about black this, black that? And it's like, yeah, it's obviously happening. So I want to pick up on that part of the conversation when we come back on stage with David Choate. Still to come on stage with David Choate.
You're more than just a human. Because at the end of the day, like whatever you bring to the table that people want from you, you bring that and they want that.
I am so excited to share that we have finally got all of the tickets up on our website, and tickets are now on sale for the first season of David Choate Productions. With the all-new DCP and RDT season pass, you're getting 9 shows. That's one show every single month beginning in November. I hope to see you in the theater. Your ticket to my show, somebody else's ticket to an opportunity. All right, so we are back on stage. Thee PRIMO, the one and only. You definitely know how to advocate for yourself. You definitely know how to stand up in space and make yourself known. I feel like even though I'm older than you, or how we even came to really know each other was like you dancing in the show. I had always felt like when I was in your space that you had so much for me to learn from you, and I valued that. Like you, I would say Rashad, you guys like really ushered in this new feeling, because there can be a lot of toxicity in the dance world. We even talked about, as black men, some of the things we have to put up with, and I know that there were times where I allowed other people to make me feel small. And what I loved about you guys is, I don't know if it was ever a problem, but from what I saw, I'm like, nobody's gonna make these guys feel small, and I want to learn more from that. So I say thank you, and like I wanted to touch that real quick, because you left off right before the break talking about like the need to advocate for self. I think a lot of people see what we do and they think that a lot was given to us. Um, and I'm like, there really is, if we want our brothers, our sisters, our people, whoever's watching this, to feel like, yeah, I can do this too if I want. Talk to us about that advocating piece and what you need inside of you, because this ain't none of this shit just given.
Yeah,
It's making it
absolutely.
happen through it all.
So it's the best way that I can put it in today's terms is you really have to think of yourself as a brand, as a you are you're more than just a human. Because at the end of the day, like whatever you bring to the table that people want from you, you bring that and they want that. So at the end of the day, you have to figure out, okay, what is my worth?
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever it is that you
Mm-hmm.
bring to the table, it has a lot of worth. Otherwise, people wouldn't want it. So the biggest part of advocating for yourself comes in where it's knowing your boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and identifying when they feel crossed and knowing how to react. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Perfect example. So the college that I went to was essentially a musical theater cult. And
A
with the
goal. Oh.
yes, with the beautiful things about it that I talk about often, I often talk about the good things about it because
Mm.
it was some beautiful things that I got to experience, but it was very traumatizing
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you were in a space that was almost like, not even almost, it's definitely like when these two directors walk in the room, like we could be normal just chilling, but when these two directors walk in the room, it's sit up straight, it's
Yeah.
smiles on, and if you're not smiling and nodding your head to everything that they say, being a yes man, they would literally turn to, they could, this woman could literally be in the front of a giant, the warehouse was just like this, a giant room, she could be in the front, you could be in the back on the opposite side of the room, she will turn to you and rip you to shreds.
Oh wow.
Like just rip you to shreds. Will literally put all of your business. I watched her during a Christmas show full of 250 50 plus alumni and students of the college tell this girl that the reason she wasn't getting the steps right and she was late was because she was in the wrong hotel room with a boy, and that she needed to go get a new room and get a room by herself if she couldn't perform and come on stage and also still be messing around with a
Oop.
boy at the same time on the microphone. So in spaces like that,
Mhm.
it was traumatizing because I watched so many people around me who did not know how to advocate for themselves. There are
And we
people
see
who are
stuff
in.
like that's not an isolated, like
No,
we've
not
talked
all.
about that, even on this trip
Mm-hmm.
of just being in places and spaces where whether it's the way in which directors or teachers have commented on people's bodies,
Mm-hmm.
um, let's not even talk about hair color and skin, um, or just even the way in which you speak to someone that to me represents this caste system
Mm-hmm.
beyond your position of like you're directing this show or like I am a subordinate, whatever
Mm-hmm.
hierarchy. The tone that I hear speaks to I believe that I am better than you, or I have the agency to talk down to
I
you. And
control
it's
your
like,
future. I
yeah,
control what tour you go on. I control what role you get. I
which
control
is
this, this,
toxic,
this. That's so toxic. And
And
it's
how do
like,
you navigate because you
mhm,
might be in space, the work that I do. Damn, I might have just said something that pisses off the person that it may be you're mad at me, but you take it out because you're not going to book RDT.
mhm,
Or when we're talking about the gross funding disparities between white and black.
mhm,
Well, hopefully people see this information and go, "Oh, I didn't know. Let's figure out what we can do." But then maybe the
mhm,
people who are funding see this information and they're like, "Is this guy talking about me?" And they stop funding.
mhm,
It's like when you're in these places where you're dealing with people who, to your point, can control or seemingly control parts of your future.
mhm,
How did you get the bravery to speak up to power? Because that's what it is. It's
mhm.
speaking to power.
Realizing that you're not God, you ain't my mom,
Hmm.
so you're not finna talk to me any kind of way. Like,
No
who
matter who you are.
in the grand scheme of things, who are you?
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, when I auditioned and I got in, you saw me as an asset. You saw me as something that could add to you. And in my mind, you cannot make it make sense to how I am an asset to you and you get to treat me any kind of way.
Yeah.
So for me, it was realizing, okay, there was this whole old kid, new kid thing. If you were in your first year of school, you were called the new kid, and any year after that, you were called an old kid. And the old kids had a nasty habit. They would just talk any kind of way. And even older kids than certain old kids would talk to you. And for me, it was, who are you talking to?
Hmm. Yeah.
You're never going to talk to me that way because I would never talk to you that way.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, even when I might feel some type of way, like in a setting like this, show me respect. It's all about respect.
And what anchors me is how people don't see the problem with the offense, but see a huge problem when it's now on the
Hmm.
defense.
Hmm.
So for an us to be in space, to be in professional space, like I had to do this in corporate spaces, still do, you know, a person right in the eye and say, who you talking to? Like
Hmm.
you lucky I didn't say anything else,
Hmm. Hmm.
and but then pinned angry black men, but then pinned like difficult to work with, but then pinned, and it's like, no, this isn't that. This is what called common human decency,
Yeah.
But what I think people miss is that, and again, it goes back to caste. We have literally lived in a system where not only could you talk down to someone, you know,
Hmm.
we've lived in a system that said that black voices that are undervalued, that do what I say, you don't question it. You you got it good. At least you got a job. You know, never mind the gross pay disparity. You know,
Mm-hmm.
never mind how you're treated. No, never mind the fact that you can't show up as your true, full, authentic self. You're here. Be grateful, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's always that. It's all connected to me
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like, again, perfect example, you didn't see the problem in how you were taught to. I've been in situations where I was the manager, you know, I had employees, but the organization allowed the employees to talk to me any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to really go through hell and high water to justify any sort of like disciplinary action. I remember one, I told him, you gotta let this guy go. Like, I'm telling you, this man is racist. And we document this stuff and I get written off. I left the organization and come to find out, he had said some real off the wall shit about one of the clients in the building, and it got overheard. And so and it was clearly undeniable. But now that it costs you money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's
That you
out
deem
there,
somebody that you deem important.
yeah, somebody that you deem important has gotten upset. Now you do something about it. And I've been telling you about this man for a while. And y'all,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the one who manages him,
Yeah.
and I didn't have the power to let him go.
And something that's really, really important to me, for me personally, that made me realize my worth was actually the things that happened to me that devalued me and made me feel devalued.
Hmm.
Actually, in my mind, I was able to flip that and realize, like, for example, oftentimes my castability is always in question and always at a risk because I am Black, I am queer, and I am short. So these are three
But the things you can
huge
do.
disadvantages. These are three
Yeah.
huge disadvantages that I have realized is like, okay, these are the things that people told me was wrong with me. But then I look at the people that they deem as castable, perfect, correct, proper, and I'm like, wow, you thirsting after this tall person, but I can jump way higher.
Yeah.
You're thirsting after this white man, but you're doing a shoot in the sun and my skin reflects that light way better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're doing a show, you pick this straight man, but at the end of the day, you can't really get much out of him because he's afraid of being vulnerable because he thinks it's feminine. But I know how to ride that wave. So my thing is like, oh my gosh, out of all of these things that these people deem perfect that I didn't get because I wasn't that, it made me realize that, damn, I'm actually a rarity.
Yeah.
Because it's like, despite all of these things that they say I lack, I realize I actually have way more of, just in a different, more unique way. So I think that is so important for people to be able to, in a way, if you feel like it's tricking yourself, call it that. But in a way, it's retraining your mind to realize those things that people tell you you are not, or those things that people tell you you don't have. That
Other
just
things
really,
they're projecting because they want. Yeah.
Yes. And it's also like, those are the things that make you realize, okay, I may not be tall, but these are the things that I am. So in these moments, when you go to auditions, when you go and try out for things, when you go to job interviews and you go about these positions and where you are feeling as though someone else has the power over you, you have to realize, though you may not have these things that they do have, think of all the things that you don't have. Think of all the things that you do have.
He just said a whole word, and we're going to take a moment to take that in, and we will be right back to continue this awesome conversation. So don't go anywhere. Still to come, on stage with David Cho. Secrets out, I want to cause some trouble. Because you know what? There should be more students in school going, teacher or not, don't talk to me like that again. I want to jump right back in. That was, ooh. Yeah, I mean, and I hope that people of all ages hear what you just said in this last piece, because you said a lot, that I don't even know that people can take in. Like, you're gonna have to listen to this again and really dissect, folks. Like, for all the things and all the times that you were told what you're not, you know, it's so funny how it's always those people, the underdog, the lower caste, that the upper caste depends on for so much. They went and grabbed you and brought you here to build this country. Like, you have to know that. Like, and it wasn't because it was easy. That's a long ass journey, you know. To go and get the backs that will be strong enough to continue to call us stupid, yeah, but not allow us to read.
Mm.
Think
Mhm.
about that.
Mhm.
Because if I'm stupid, it shouldn't make a difference.
Right.
If I can't put two and two together anyway, because I just do, you know,
Mhm.
it's the craziest trick. Because for everything that they say that you're not, it's like you're lazy. Me, who built all this, all this. You stupid. Me, who, how many inventions we got under our belt? Like,
Will we teach y'all how to clean yourselves?
and when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to the entertainment industry, that's what really fires me up, because how much of even your music, quote unquote, is actually a derivative of our music, you know? And the fact that a lot of what you have, what we listen to today, is like this byproduct of what we created in the most like heinous times of our lives, like
Mhm.
in slavery, on a field, like no resources, writing songs, braiding hair into a map to get to freedom.
Mhm.
First off, figuring out how the fuck to get from the south to the north. Right. I
Mhm.
don't even know how to read a compass. I don't. We walking for days. I don't know if we're going in the right direction. But my ancestors figured it out, you
And
know.
they
And
didn't
it's
have
like,
Apple Maps,
man, they
like
didn't have it. Like
they
it's just I look. I said you had a word. I just had to go off on that tangent, just
Absolutely.
to say, like, this is when you think about it, though. That's what gives you the agency to walk into rooms in power and
Mhm.
go, who are you talking to?
Mhm.
You know, because I'm gonna let you know who you're talking to if you
Mhm.
don't know. You
Mhm.
know, and in the things that you project and the things in which you say and everything you say I can't do. Now, when people say that to 2023 David, I let a lot of people slide in years before. But it's
You
too
did.
much knowledge now to go. I can't let that go. You know, and again, I love how unbothered you are. I love that you are so much younger. I love that Rashad is so much younger. I love that this is going to be out there that other people who went to our same high school can watch. And then I want secrets out. I want to cause some trouble.
Mhm.
Because you know what? There should be more students in school going, teacher or not,
Mhm.
don't talk to me like that again.
Mhm.
There should be more people in corporate America like, don't lose your job, document. Paper is everything, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
but no, you're not going to do that, sir. You
Mhm.
know, there's so much that we can learn from you. But I'm gonna stop talking because you're the guest on this show. But I don't know if y'all can tell. I felt that real strong.
Yes, and
Uh,
I feel that.
you know, say something.
I just feel like there comes a point in time where you have to decide for yourself what is how long am I going to allow
Mm.
myself to feel this way? Because what
Should
it
I
comes
stay or
down,
should I go?
yeah, because it's like
Mm.
what it boils down to is somebody asked me the other day, they're like, why are you get I said I want to get a tattoo on my throat. I'm about to get a tattoo on my throat. They were like,
You gonna tell
Why
us
are
what
you
it
gonna?
is?
No. Um, but they were like, why are you gonna get a tattoo on your throat? And I'm like, because I want a tattoo on my throat. I feel like it's gonna look dope. And they were like, what about if you get a job and do it? I said, I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't want it. Because guess what? The job that is. Because at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, it is 2023
Mm-hmm.
to be sitting up here
Mm-hmm.
worrying about not getting a job, not
Mm-hmm.
booking a part, or anything like that because of something that is on my body is absurd. And I realize I know my value well enough to know that is not a space that I want to be in. Because at the same time, I know I'm going to be triggered all over again. Because if you got a problem with a tattoo, you got to have a problem with somebody who might have a little excess weight. You definitely got a
Mm-hmm.
problem with a girl who might have braids all the way down to their ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of these with certain things comes other things. And my
Yeah.
thing is these stipulations and things, I've been out on the road and out in the world enough on my own with no representation, no management, no nothing like
Yeah.
that. And I've done a lot. And that is because I realize, like, okay, from this one situation where I stood up for myself
Yep.
and I did it in a way where I didn't feel like it was distasteful or a way that was going to pin me out to be the angry black man, but it was still assertive and
Mm-hmm.
stern. Okay, that was a success. So now I can take that and all the things that I learned from that. So when I go
Yes,
over
that part.
here, now I can be like, all right, I realize that if I'm now in another predominantly white space, there is a possibility that you might experience this and you might experience that. And it's like you don't lead with that, but at the end of the day, you now know how to handle things. And the more you do things, the better you become at.
Mm.
So it's like when you are in these situations, it's better to start as soon as possible. Because
Yeah.
the longer you
It gets
wait,
easier. It's
yeah,
hard,
it
but it
really
gets
gets it
easier.
really gets
Yeah.
easier because
Mm-hmm.
you realize like, hey, um, I felt like that was like recently. I was at Juilliard and I had rehearsal for a
Just
show I
say
was doing.
casually, I would say Julia.
Um, I was at the Lincoln Center and I walked in. I was walking in and out because I was going in and out. And every time I kept coming in, the guy at the door, he would let me in, but then he kept saying, "How can I help you?" And after the first time I was like, "I'm here for rehearsal." Second time I was like, "I'm here for rehearsal."
Mm.
The third time I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, first of all, let's really get into it. Like, we're at the Lincoln Center. I'm a black man
Mm.
who
Mm.
is dressed how I dressed, what y'all would consider thuggish or
Yeah.
street or hood or urban. Child, like, there ain't a lot of them walking up and through here. So
Yeah.
why do you keep asking me, how can I help you?
Yeah.
When you've seen me 3 times, nobody else looks like me that's walked in here.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the fourth time, I walked up to him and I was like, why do you keep letting me in and then asking me, how can I help you? And so sometimes it's asking a question.
Mm.
It's not necessarily it's not necessarily a rah 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 rah.
And to
It's
be clear,
you
like
gotta
not
bring
asking anybody else,
yeah,
like,
it's like
"Hey, how can I help you? You know where you're
right,
going?" Yeah. Yeah.
right. It's like let me
Mm.
bring this to your attention.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really that because that's the beautiful thing about, you know, experiencing different situations, you learn how to gauge them accordingly. Sometimes it's take off, sometimes it's let me ask you in the form of a question why you
Mm-hmm.
did exactly what you did. Let me tell you what you did and ask you why.
Because you may not really
Yeah,
know
because you
in
may
a
not
real
right.
way.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you realize that you're being microaggressive,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to bring it to your attention that you're being microaggressive because I don't want people who come in here that might look like me afterwards to have to deal with this again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is not going to keep continuing to happen. And that is why I speak up because I'm like, if I speak up in this space, maybe somebody else doesn't even have to worry about this because just maybe the person who receives what I'm giving actually receives what
Mm.
I'm giving and
Mm.
takes it in. And maybe, just maybe, when they think about saying that thing that they want to say, they'll think twice. because they don't want that heat on them. Nobody wants heat on them.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to. I learned, a professor taught me in college. She said, everybody thinks they're the good guy. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. But at the end of the day, you're going to be the bad guy at some point because everybody else's reality is different. So,
Yeah,
what
that's
do
true.
you do when you find out that you're the bad guy in someone else's story?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's I think you hit the nail right on, because I think particularly as we talk about systems in this country, even looking at since George Floyd and things like that, you do see where, there's a lot of people saying like, what more do you people want? You know,
Hmm.
uh, we've thrown maybe a couple of dollars this way. We've come up with this initiative, painted this mural. We allowed you to, you know,
Hmm.
look, we all, why can't we just kumbaya? Like, and it's like, one, you keep doing all this other shit but fixing actual racism, which is the thing. But I think you also hit the nail on the head with understanding, like, you've been all over this world. You've seen a whole bunch of people. What I love about both of our experiences is we know how to rock with the best and the worst of them.
Hmm.
You can drop me off in the middle of the hood,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna be all right.
Hmm.
you know, um,
Absolutely.
and I have been blessed to sit at some tables that I'm like,
Show
well,
is
ain't this
nice.
fancy?
This is nice. It
Right?
don't smell like
Yeah.
roaches or
I
nothing. Like,
know. But here we are. Um,
yeah.
a lot of people haven't had that, and I think, like you said, nobody sees themselves as the bad guy. Uh, but you have to be able to evaluate the whole of the experience, not
Yes.
just like, oh yeah, they should feel really good that we gave them
Yeah.
X amount of money. It's like, okay, but
Yeah.
compared to the economic disadvantages,
Hmm.
or can we talk about the fact that you're always the one in the positions you give in the first place? Why do I always have to come to you to be able to do anything to live? And what set us up to be at this point? It really is setting this whole different frame of thought that says we're all trying to have this one common human experience. I think, um, that nobody wants them or their family or their kind or their whatever to be talked down to be whatever, to be demeaned. You can't get yours by putting someone else down. Like, that's the
Hmm.
thing. Like, even in all of my work, like even when I'm calling out other organizations, calling out white people, like, it's not that I don't like white people. Like, get
Right.
yours, keep yours.
Right.
Like, inclusion is not a subtraction.
Right.
I'm just saying I want mine too. you
Right.
know, um, and I would like for it to not always have to come out of your hand. You know,
Hmm.
um, it's saying color my world. It's saying I know what it is to literally go through life as the only man in the room that looks like me.
Hmm.
I just want a couple of spaces
And
where
it's
I can
like,
walk in and see my folks. But if you never had that, how many white people know what that really feels like? To go to work and be the only one that looks like you. Church, the only one that looks like you. Your
hmm,
group, the only one that looks like you. You like, and it's like, so you
hmm,
don't understand my push for, can we get some more niggas in here?
hmm.
Like, you don't like,
And
you
it's
don't
like,
get it.
it's crazy to think about because it's like, even when they are in the position of power, we as black people, what we're supposed to bring to the table and what is being requested of is never just enough in itself. And we were just talking about this yesterday. Like, for me, as a black queer man, it is in straight spaces, it's never enough. My talent is never just enough. In gay spaces,
Mhm.
my talent is never enough. I'm never just enough. I always we always got to go the extra mile in some sort of way. We always got to kiss ass. We always got to show a little skin. We always got to cover a little something up. We always got to code switch and talk like this. Chad, I
Yeah.
can't really talk how I really want to talk. And, the whole concept and ideology behind it's like, is it okay to say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we always have to compromise something in order to get something from these people in power. And it's like, let's say y'all do remain in power for the rest of eternity, when
Knock
is
on wood.
child please, child please, but like, when is it enough to just be me?
Yeah.
And it's like, don't you feel like, even being way up there, like, don't you get, do you feel like you?
Yeah.
Isn't it a lot of work to be racist?
Yeah.
Isn't it a lot of work to be prejudiced? Isn't it a lot of work to be transphobic? Isn't it a lot of work to be fat phobic? Isn't it a lot of work to do all of these things? Doesn't that feel heavy? Because I know when I even catch myself in predicaments in my human moments where I might say something that would be slightly homophobic as a queer person, or slightly transphobic, or I might say something about, I might say something off the wall, slightly racist, and
Yeah.
I have to check myself, and I'd be like,
Like it don't
well,
feel good.
it does
Yeah.
not feel good.
Yeah.
It is not a good
Yeah.
feeling. And even when I'm angry and upset with somebody and I'm reading somebody and I'm like, all of those feelings do not feel good. That's so heavy. And so it's like being in a position of power with all of this weight and stress. Like, that's not weight. That's not stress. All of this blood on your hands.
Yeah.
That doesn't keep you up at night. Like,
Yeah.
it's a wild
That's
concept.
it is wild. I think I wish we had more time to dive into it. But
Because
I
it's a
think we've
lot.
given a lot though. Like man, I knew this was gonna be a great conversation. We could do a whole series. So oh my gosh.
Literally.
Well, I hope that you guys have enjoyed no, this holiday episode of On Stage with David Choate. But no matter the time, no matter the place, we're always going to use our stage, our platform to shine a light on issues that really, really matter. So make sure that you leave a comment. Make sure you let us know what you think. And until next time, I'll see you on stage with David Choate. All right, so that was an incredible conversation. I really hope that you enjoyed it. And there's actually two little things that I really want to make sure that you take away from this. Is number one, don't let anybody let you feel small. And it's really understanding there's always more. There are 8 billion people in this world. Don't give anybody that type of power. No matter who they are, boss, current, director, whoever, the agency to make you feel less than who you really are. And if we could all just remember that we're all here trying to just enjoy one common human experience, and I think that's when we'll be on our way to changing the damn world. Until next time, can't wait to see you on stage with David Choate.